So GS paper 2. First is Indian Constitution and Polity. We will have most of the time we'll have a high weightage to Indian Constitution and Polity, and basically 3 to 4 questions from the international relations. And if you governance were 3 and social issues were 4, like poverty, unemployment, that type of questions were around 4. Okay. Now, what is here Indian Constitution and Polity? Have you gone through this paper? I'll show you a question. Discuss the role of Vice President of India as the Chairman of Rajya Sabha. 10 marker. Purely static. Asal vere current affairs example రాయాల్సిన అవసరం కూడా లేదు దానికైతే మరి ఇంకా. So this here the question is all the things are all about this type of questions, and at the same time we also have a questions. See, suppose this is a question: the most significant achievement of modern law in India's constitutionalization of environmental problems by Supreme Court. So this is totally an analytical question. So where we have to link that with the current affairs. So environmental problems ni constitutional ketla link chesi any issues nadichini. So you have to bring those issues here. If you have an idea about what is a statutory body, what is a constitutional body, and when this is in news, if you give a thought, what are the benefits of being a constitutional body, you would have written this question. See, what is this question? Discuss the role of National Commission for Backward Classes in the wake of its transformation from a statutory body to a constitutional body. ఏమీ అవసరం లేదు. మీకు కనుక స్టాచ్యుటరీ బాడీకి కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ బాడీకి ఐడియా ఉండి దాని కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ బాడీ యొక్క రోల్ ఏంటి, వాట్ ఆర్ మోర్ అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్, ఇఫ్ యూ వుడ్ హ్యావ్ నోన్ దట్ యూ వుడ్ హ్యావ్ ఆన్సర్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్. 10 marker. Okay, so this time most of the questions of even from the constitutional and polity are also static and few of them dynamic. But when you're reading this constitution and polity, see, polity చాలా ఈజీగా అర్థమైపోతుంది. ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ కనపడుతున్నాడు, గవర్నర్ కనపడుతుంది, అందరూ మన కళ్ళ ముందే కనపడతారు. సో ఇట్స్ ఈజీ టు అండర్స్టాండ్, ఈజీ టు like have a relation or connect to the topics. We can connect easily to that because every day newspaper if you open, tribunal, court, Supreme Court, High Court, all these things easy to read. But the problem with the Indian constitution and polity questions were majorly they were difficult to write, interpret the question. A question ni manam chala careful ga chadivi, especially the one which I talked right now, and there's other question of decentralization also. So atlant topics ni nenu cheppinattu parts ga divide cheskoni you should have a clear idea what you're going to write for the next 150 words. Adi munde anukunte 30 seconds or 1 minute patna, so next time the question will go in a faster way because I can give a clear instruction to my brain where to search because I know where to search and what to write. Okay, so here it is also majorly the questions were static plus dynamic. But whenever you are writing, there are questions where for this static topic we also have to add numerous examples. See, numerous examples in the sense there is a question about Election Commission and Model Code of Conduct. We have a question on Model Code of Conduct. Discuss the role of Election Commission of India in the light of evolution of Model Code of Conduct. Straight away question this is. But we will give an example from the recent current affairs. Even this national political parties. So most of the questions were, see this, observe this question. Critically examine the procedures through which the presidents of India and France are elected. See, we have a topic itself comparing our constitutions with the other constitutions. So if you know that, if you read the topic clearly, this is easy to answer. And even if you take the governance issues, governance and social issues like little overlapping. See, we have a question on PM Gati Shakti. There is a logistics program started by governor, our Prime Minister. We also have a question on direct benefit transfer. We also have a question on Disability Act. So there is a question. See, the questions were very simple. I'll show you that question also. Have you guys found this disability question anywhere? The Rights of Persons with Disability Act 2016 remains only on a legal document without intense sensitization of government functionaries, citizens regarding disability. So whatever introduction will introduce this act. So what they are saying, it is just a legal document. The act lagane undi kani there is no sensitization of government functionaries. Government lo ante see very basic one. Every government office should have a ramps for the disability people. How many of them have? So it was on the legal document they had. but how the sensitization is, how they were addressing this disability, differently challenged people when they came to the offices, how they were treating. So the question is majorly, what are the problems in the implementation of this act? సో మనం ఏమనుకున్నాము, ఒక యాక్ట్ కానీ ఒక పాలసీ కానీ చదివేటప్పుడు ఎలా చదవాలి, దాని ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఏంటి, విజన్ ఏంటి, ఎవరు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తారు, వాట్ ఎల్స్. సో యాజ్ ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ, పాలసీ మేకింగ్, పాలసీ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్, పాలసీ మానిటరింగ్. సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ పాలసీ చేశారు, సో దట్ ఈస్ ద ప్రొవిజన్స్. పాలసీ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్లో ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి అంటున్నారు, వాట్ ఆర్ దోస్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్? దిస్ క్వశ్చన్ ఈస్ అబౌట్ దాట్. సో నేను అదే చెప్తున్నాను, బేసిక్ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్ నుంచి ఈసారి ఏ క్వశ్చన్ బయటికి వెళ్ళలేదు. వాట్ ఎవర్ క్వశ్చన్ యూ టేక్, దే వర్ మేజర్లీ అరౌండ్ ద బేసిక్ ఫ్రేమ్వర్క్. రిఫార్మింగ్ ద గవర్నమెంట్ డెలివరీ సిస్టమ్ త్రూ direct benefit transfer scheme is a progressive step, but it has limitations too. What they are saying, idanta direct benefit transfer is a progressive step. So we'll write how it is a progressive step, few points. Later on, major question, what is revolving around? Limitations. So we will write limitations. So majorly the questions were like this year. So this is about the questions. And if you take this, ఈసారి లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ క్లాస్ ఎవరైతే విన్నారో, దే విల్ రైట్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆన్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ రిలేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ మెయిన్స్, బికాస్ I2U2 we discussed. And what is the significance of I2U2 for India? గుర్తుందా I2U2? See, I told about Abraham Accord, Abraham Alliance, I2U2, and what is the position. We took a topic I2U2. So that was the question here. Indo-Sri Lanka, I invested a lot of time in discussing Indo-Sri Lanka relations. That was another question. Straight away questions they are. So purely international relations are always dynamic. So they were reflected here. See, if you observe this question, what is BIMSTEC, what is SARC, if you know them, and what are the limitations with the SARC, and what are the advantages, see how benefit they are, how challenging they are, what are the problems with the organization. Okay, organization chadutunnappudu manam first em cheppali meeku, member countries, and what is the purpose of that organization, whether it is a military, ఎకనామికల్గా, పొలిటికల్గా ఎందుకు ఫామ్ చేసాము ఆ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ని. సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు అబ్జర్వ్ దాట్. సో వాట్ ఇస్ ద క్వశ్చన్, డూ యూ థింక్ బిమ్స్టెక్ ఇస్ అ ప్యారలల్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లైక్ ద సార్క్? వాట్ ఆర్ ద సిమిలారిటీస్ అండ్ డిసిమిలారిటీస్ బిట్వీన్ ద టూ? హౌ ఆర్ ద ఫారిన్ పాలసీ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్, ఇండియన్ ఫారిన్ పాలసీ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రియలైజ్డ్ బై ఫార్మింగ్ ద ఇండియన్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్? సో ఇదంటే ఏంటి, ఇదంటే ఏంటి అని ఇంట్రడక్షన్లో చెప్తాం. నెక్స్ట్ ఏం చెప్తాము, పార్ట్ 1 similarities between the BIMSTEC and SARC, points lo rastam. Part 2 dissimilarities, and then what we'll write, how these bodies are helping to realize our foreign policy objectives. What is our foreign policy objective? Neighborhood first. ఇవి రెండు నైబర్హుడ్ ఫస్ట్లోనే ఇంక్లూడ్ అయి ఉంటాయి. నైబర్హుడ్ ఫస్ట్, మనకి ఎకనామిక్ సెక్యూరిటీ ఉండాలి, ఫుడ్ సెక్యూరిటీ ఉండాలి, ఎనర్జీ సెక్యూరిటీ ఉండాలి. సో మేజర్లీ how the strategically they are helpful for us. So that will be our third part. So our brain will think similarities. What is the similarity between BIMSTEC and SARC? So in that way you have to write. SARC sessions ఆగిపోయి చాలా years అవుతుంది, because there is always a contentious issues between the Pakistan and India. So the sessions was never fruitful. Not even virtual session was taking place in SARC. Okay, anyways, that's not the question. So what I'm trying to tell you here is static question. And this is also a static one, if you know the basic about BIMSTEC and SARC, but you have to analyze that in the recent times and connecting that to the Indian foreign policy objectives. Indian foreign policy objectives adagatledu, adigindi ivi rendu ela Indian foreign policy. So your question should not revolve around mem Panchasheel follow aitamu, maak neighborhood policy undi, maak Gujarat doctrine undi, kaadu. Ivi Gujarat doctrine etla fulfill chestunnamo, idi inkela chestunnam. So the question should be link between these two to the Indian foreign policy. Okay, so that is paper. So international relations always will be a dynamic topics, but this time the questions are very simple. Sometimes the question will be so difficult for us to interpret the question itself is a difficult one, but this time it's easy. So GS paper 3, this time paper is, if you know the syllabus and if you know the basic things, basic framework about the syllabus, you will write the answers. Why? Because I don't see, What is inclusive growth? If you know what is inclusive growth and all the dimensions of inclusive growth, and if you know what is market economy, this question is easy. If you know what is triple P, how it is working in a railway stations, because that is a contentious issue. This is static part and this is recent part of the question. This news lo undi, this static part undi. So they are linking these two. And if you take, what are the major challenges of public distribution system? Inka daatan kuda daataledu asalu. They didn't go even what goes beyond of it. So the topic of PDS untundi. What are the challenges of PDS? How can we make it effective and transparent? What are your suggestions? So itla suggestions ichedappudu em cheyali? We have to give different, as I told you, examples, case studies or examples. Chhattisgarh used to paint their buses with the yellow. So when the yellow van comes into the village, so everyone in the village will come to know that the ration came to the village. So no, the person cannot deny that we didn't receive the ration. So such type of small changes will bring huge impact. Such type of examples you have to give. See, if you know the food processing industry, okay, food processing industry undante em chevutam manam? Scope enti, significance enti, benefits enti, challenges enti, government recent ga em programs teeskochindi. These are the things that to develop our food processing industry, what are the recent changes, what are the examples, some facts, because we are urbanizing, fastly urbanizing nation. So what we need food processing industries. See, I won't make masala and everything, I will buy it from the market. My mom used to make from the home. So food processing industry is developing very rapidly. So oka topic ni teeskunte manam, this is the scope that we will read. What is this question here? Elaborate the scope and significance of the food processing industry in India. Papam datam kuda, this time the question paper was, whoever have a control over the static subject, they are going to clear this exam. And with good examples from the current affairs, it is easy. So that is about the economic questions were like that. And even if you take the science and tech questions also, few of the science and tech questions were also from the static. Suppose this plant material, this is a static one. Whenever the winter starts, the topic that runs in our newspapers is smog in Delhi and air pollution. So this is how the topic will be revolving around. So what discuss in detail the photochemical smog. So what is its formation, effects, mitigations. So most of the newspapers, either if we take Indian Express or Hindu, they'll give these columns. Manchi pictures vesi short ga inda oka picture chupichagana, atla neat ga anta short ga oka box lo ichchestar. If you read that, you can write that answer. So if we take the disaster management question, explain the mechanism and occurrence of cloudburst in the context of Indian subcontinent with recent 2 examples. And if you take the internal security question, we have a topic organized crime. Types of organized crime. What are the linkages between the terrorist organization? Heading, our head syllabus lo topic idi. Organized crime ante linkage between terrorist and organized crime. And if you take the maritime security enti, then challenges enti, manam em chestunnam. That is how what we'll read, right? Same question without going beyond it. Challenges and what are the initiatives, organizational initiatives enti, technical ga em chestunnam, procedural ga em chestunnam. So straight away questions. We didn't go beyond. Okkate recent ga endante emana recent initiatives regarding maritime that we have to add over here. So even the renewable energy. See, what are the main bottlenecks in the upstream and downstream process of marketing of agricultural products in India? What is integrated farming system? What is, simple question, what is integrated farming system? Question interpret cheyadanku time matter. So what and if you take the current science and tech questions, it's about James Webb Space Telescope, which was in the news, running, it was in the news continuously. And not only that, as I told you, we also have a question on this, vaccine developments, in the newspaper, it was there, current affairs. So, explain the causes and effects of coastal erosion in India, disaster management. What are the reasons? Even 10th class student can write about this coastal erosion. But what change that you have to provide? Quantitative and qualitative examples and case studies. In one word, in one sentences. What are the different elements of cyber security? Question, basic material cyber security మీద ఓపెన్ చేస్తే ఫస్ట్ టాపిక్ వచ్చేది ఇదే, డిఫరెంట్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఏమున్నాయి సైబర్ సెక్యూరిటీలో. అండ్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఛాలెంజెస్, వాట్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఇన్ అ నేషనల్ సైబర్ సెక్యూరిటీ స్ట్రాటజీ, వాట్ ఈస్ అవర్ స్ట్రాటజీ, హౌ ఫార్ వీఆర్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్.